Welcome to The Power of Earth with Comfort by Climate Master. This Clean Heat podcast series shows you how you can save up to 70% on your energy bills with geothermal heating, cooling, and hot water, and how utility incentives and tax credits can pay for a large portion of your new geothermal system. The air, water, earth, and sun awes us. These awesome forces of nature can provide 1,000 times more energy than we need. You and me are also forces of nature. Women of mankind, all earthkind, are the fifth element. We are literally changing the world. Awesome Earthkind's geothermal heating and cooling podcast series, The Power of Earth with Comfort by Climate Master, shows you how you can tap into the energy under your feet to heat and cool your home, create hot water, and save up to 70% on your energy bills. If you would, please let us know who you are, where you work, what kind of work you go, where do you live, all that good stuff.
Oh, yeah. My name's Gibson Craig. I live in Pleasantville, New York, up in Westchester County. And my career, I'm the Director of Preconstruction for a local developer. We do multifamily apartments. And, I've been kind of around building single-family homes and renovating ever since I was a kid, working with my dad doing that. And now I kind of taken that to a different scale, doing pre-planning for, some pretty big projects in Westchester, like, 100 apartments or 200 apartment size buildings. And it's kind of who I am and what I do.
Yeah, great. And when did you install geothermal?
In around 2016, 2017 is when we were doing that phase of our house. We built a house in Pleasantville. Me and my wife were lucky enough to do some experimenting with some sustainable techniques, and we built what I think is a pretty high quality house, with respect to those types of things.
Yeah, how big is it, and how many bedrooms, and all that sort of good stuff?
Oh yeah, it's 2,300 square feet. It's a 3-bedroom, and we did a geothermal closed loop system, and we have central air, and we ended up having structurally insulated panels on the outside of the house. So that really helps keep the building, cool in the summer and warm in the winter, which is also important, for doing geothermal, to have a nice, robust, insulated, house.
Fantastic. And just so people get to know you a little bit, so would you care to share one thing that most people wouldn't know about you, Gib?
I mean, it's hard to say. I guess most people, if they meet me in work or don't know about, me growing up, I used to be a pretty avid surfer. So, I still get out in the ocean maybe once or twice a year, but nothing like I used to.
A
surfer,
surfer,
I guess there's
wow.
one thing.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's really awesome.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah. Like, I spent some time down in Costa Rica. One time me and my dad were down there for a month, just chasing big waves, so I can't really do too much of that anymore, having a family up here in the suburbs, but it's something I miss.
Yeah, that's great though. Fantastic. Well, why did you go with geothermal, Gib?
So, new construction, it's, you kind of start with all the possibilities in the world, and I'd been studying, building technologies ever since college. I did architectural engineering down in Philadelphia at Drexel, and we learned a lot about sustainability, emerging technologies, and it was always on my mind. Hey, if I ever got the chance, and I was lucky enough to build a house, like, how would I always do it? And I probably peeled that onion 15 or 20 times, and in the end, you end up with a decision. Are you going to go oil, gas? Well, for me, propane, since I don't have gas in the street. Or you're going to go electric with either geo or at that time, I didn't even really know about these air source, VRF systems. Um, there was a generous federal tax credit at the time, and then that made the first cost uh, almost the same. Geo is still a little more, but the payback, I think I had a payback of like 3 or 4 years on the system, which is turns into kind of a anything under 7 years, you're like you should go for it on that payback. With less bills is basically where it came to, less operating costs.
So, what type of system did you put in, and does it do all your heating, cooling, and hot water?
It's a closed loop system. They needed about 1,000 feet of well, and we do our heating, our cooling. We have a desuper heater, I believe it was called. So when you're running air conditioning, it'll dump some excess heat into the hot water tank. But we don't have, now they're making some newer, better ways of creating hot water off the Geo. But I think I missed out on that one doing this 4 years ago.
Yeah, it is the technology is definitely advancing, so it's great. You had a 30% federal tax credit, right? So it's a little bit
Yeah, it was
less.
30% at the time. Yeah,
Yeah,
but now the way you kind of look at it now is maybe the federal tax credit is less, but in Con Ed territory, they're giving an alternate rate, which I haven't signed up for yet. It's just a new thing, but when you can get a lower electric rate for having a heat pump, you can, say you save $80 a month on average, right? You can kind of calculate what's that worth out of a mortgage. You know what I mean? So maybe $80 a month might be worth $10,000 to $15,000 of a mortgage payment, right? So you're kind of looking at, all right, well, it's you're saving money on a hard cost like basis. Um, that's one way of thinking about it too.
yeah, no doubt. And even though the tax credit has come down, it's still 26% this year and next year. And now the new incentives with Con Ed, it's now you can get like 12 grand cash off the top from Con Ed, which makes it a pretty sweet deal. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's
so
one of
maybe it's even better now. You're telling me I should have waited, huh?
nah, you were building a new home, man, and plus you already made your money
Yeah,
back. So if you would have waited, you would have paid all that extra
yeah,
money, and
yeah,
then
you're
had to
right.
pay extra for a
You're right.
retrofit. So no, you're definitely better off. But it's always better to
Yeah.
do it, today than it was than it
Yep.
will be. But still, I'm just saying it has gotten even better, and the costs have come down on the technologies too. So it's great. It's all good things. So how when you were looking at this, so why did you decide? Was it just strictly a payback thing between Geo and
Well,
propane or
that's
oil
definitely,
and
that comes, yeah, when you're a builder, you always think about that, right? So that was in my back of my head. But, I also had this, there's other reasons too, right? I don't have combustion in my basement. So carbon monoxide is something that we really don't even think about here. We didn't have gas in the street. So I would be getting deliveries for propane or oil, right? And oil, it's getting harder and harder to sell a house now if you got oil in the house. If they're making you rip tanks out of the ground, if you have an oil tank. So, that one, I think that's kind of going away. And propane is very volatile. The prices go up and down like crazy. So, I think in the end it was a combination of building new. The first costs were there, the savings were there, and these other ancillary things like no CO, in the house, and no deliveries. So that's kind of it.
yeah, no, it's pretty neat, man. So yeah, I mean, they say the one thing you don't need with a geothermal heating and cooling system is a carbon monoxide detector because nothing to
Well,
detect,
they
which is
make you
great.
get them anyway. They make you put them in.
Yeah, that's just
But
but there's nothing burning, so it's great, right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Still
yeah,
got to
it's
change
funny.
the batteries.
Yeah, yeah. Well, So, how did you choose the particular manufacturer and the installer? Did you go through some sort of process, or?
Yeah, like I got 3 or 4 numbers from different subcontractors, and we met them. They came here, and we ended up settling on Bell HVAC. Keith Bell is the owner over there, and it was a combination. He's just a really great guy. He he spent time with us, and we relied on him for all the actual equipment, sizing and the manufacturers and things like that. But he paid attention to us. We have like a big cathedral ceiling space of the house where we put a wood burning stove, and he kind of worked with us on devising a way to recirculate that hot air from the top rafters, back and around and down through the house. So he was kind of creative with us, and that meant a lot too. And his prices were very fair, also. So, highly recommend Keith for, if anybody ever is looking for a contractor, Bell HVAC is really great.
Perfect. Perfect. So, how do you like the system, and what do you like best about it?
Well, low maintenance, that's a big thing. I think, other than changing the air filters twice a year, I just put two little Poland spring bottles into the loop. There's a glycol loop of liquid, and you got to watch it, every quarter or something, every half a year, you should open it up, make sure that the tank isn't getting low. And yeah, so just to put a little water in there, and that's the only maintenance, and that's nice too, because these days everybody's so busy. The last thing you want to think about is something breaking, and it's been great.
Yeah, so low maintenance, easy to maintain, no real servicing that needs to be done. And how about quiet and comfort?
Oh, very quiet. Yep, very quiet. And yeah, it's comfortable too. Like it's a little more. The air is a little more humid than it would be as if you had like a gas fired system. So it actually took a little while for my house to. When you build a new house, there's moisture in your products. Like the wood framing, things like that. So it was kind of strange. The first couple of years, we got more condensation on our windows than we do now. So. But you don't need a humidifier in your house. Basically, you need to dehumidify your house when you end up with these types of systems. Oh, did I lose you?
Oh, sorry. No, there we go.
There you
Sorry
go.
about that. So fascinating. So, did you have any issues in your decision process with the incentives, with the installation, ongoing operations, or maintenance? Did you have any problems at all?
Um, Really not very many problems. I mean, just learning experiences. When you go build something new, you're gonna learn, right? Like I didn't realize. Well, I did all the excavation for it. Like I have a little excavator I keep here, and we ended up digging a lot of trenches. The whole front yard was just trenches. It was kind of, I was surprised at how much trenching we had to do. And after they drilled, there was like this liquid rock dust kind of sludge, I call it, that you either need to bury or get rid of, or like I ended up just putting it off to the side while we were building and let it dry out, and I used it like under my patio. It turned into rock dust. you know so there's little things like that. You wouldn't expect so much, at least I didn't expect so much area to be disturbed, where you're doing the geothermal field, but I guess it makes sense. You got to tie together all these wells.
So you went in a field in a yard as opposed to going down like 500 feet, huh?
Well, no, we did go down, but what ended up happening, we didn't have the quality of rock that we expected. So instead of just two 500-foot wells, we ended up with five 200-foot wells.
Wow.
Which is a little bit different than was expected, but that's
And
what
so,
happens in construction.
yeah, no, that's it. So,
Unexpected
yeah,
happens.
yeah, yeah. So what was the difference in the rock? Because I'm just trying to understand.
I don't know. I mean, one side of the property is up 100 feet, so it looks like you'd think we'd have bedrock, right? But then on the other side, where the house is kind of near a river, and it's like a lowland area. So, I guess when the glacier blew through, 50 million years ago, something happened. you know?
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. So, so that lesson, or other lessons you've learned, and what would you do that different, if anything, next time?
Honestly, I wouldn't really do much different. It was just like I said, it's a process. When you go in construction, the unexpected happens, and as long as you stay the course, you'll get there. And that's it, really.
Ah, cool. So if you were to give people like one recommendation about what you think, they should think about and do when they're evaluating their heating and cooling systems, what might it be? Biggest
Well,
things.
like new construction, I would say it's you should really think about this 100%, and it'd be hard, to especially if you don't have like access to gas right in the street. If you don't have access to gas, I would say you definitely 100% should do it. If you have access to gas, if you got to feel a little more, it's a little bit more of a question, right? But in the end, I think as long as you have the space, it would still pay for itself in time, and the only other, I guess, thing is when the power goes out, you don't have heat. That's one thing to be a little bit mindful of. So you need to have a backup generator or like a wood burning stove. If you're really, nervous about losing power for 5 days in the winter.
Yeah, but I mean,
That's an important thing.
even if you had a standard fossil fuel furnace or boiler, you'd still have to have electric to have the heat anyway, though, right? So, because
Yeah, but it's a little bit less, right? You could use a whisper generator. You don't need like
you have a
15
substantial generator.
kW. Yeah, yeah.
I hear what you're saying. So, in other words, if you're going to have a backup generator with a fossil fuel system, you might be able to get by. Whereas with
Yeah, you could wheel
an,
one out from your garage. You don't
I
need
got it,
like
a
a
substantial one.
standby. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Okay, fascinating. That's a really good point. So, and you don't have solar yet, right? That's one of the things you're thinking about, though, eh?
No, like I was just saying, we have 100-foot tall kind of ridge with 80-foot tall trees on top, so it's blocking the sun. The payback on a solar system here, I think, is over 10 years. So when I go do my like construction math, it's not paying for itself yet, but maybe one day, maybe one day we'll do it.
Yeah, and the prices of solar are coming down. There's, again, that federal tax credit's now back to, it was supposed to go down this year to 22%, but it's still at 26%. And the state still has some incentives for you. So, it might be worth taking a look at, especially, I think you
Yeah.
said that you were building a little office thing off the side or something. So,
Yeah, that's probably my next project is just like a little studio, I think, just because of the way the world is right now. My wife's been working from home. She could use a little spot to get away from me. You know what I mean? or
yeah, most wives say that.
or she could kick me out and I could go, sleep in there and snore away. You know what I mean? And she could sleep.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, so one of the things that some people do, though, if they're going to do some sort of extension, is then take a look at putting the solar over there because they're already doing the construction anyway, and now on the roof you just put it.
Yep.
So something to think
Yep.
about at the time. So cool. All right, well, let's go into we call it the pulsar round, where we ask you a series of questions and see if you can come back with short, succinct, amazing, and mind-blowing answers. So you ready?
Yeah, sure.
Why
Sure.
not, right? What's the best advice you've
Yeah.
ever received, man?
Well, growing up, I wrestled most of my life, and I had some really great coaches, and one of them he went to the University of Iowa, and it's a really good wrestling program, and they have a pretty prolific guy, Dan Gable, and if you look him up, he's got tons of quotes, and they're all written on the wall, and they were just instilled in us on a regular basis, and two quotes that I really like are, if you're afraid to fail, you'll never succeed. And which I think is a motto I've really kind of lived my life by a lot. Because, if you don't, it's like if you don't try, you'll never win, same thing. And the easiest thing to do in the world is to pull your covers up over your head and go back to sleep is another one that I like too. And, they could be applied to a lot of things, and especially in construction. Also, it's when you're pushing the envelope, going with these new ideas, new techniques. You may not know is that payback really 3 years, right? Is that payback actually 15 years? Am I getting sold a little snake oil, right? You don't really know. But it's important to push that envelope, go for those new ideas and be on that cutting edge, and prove them to be correct. And in the end, we all want to develop these methods and decrease our footprint at home, at work, and help make the world a little bit better place to be.
Excellent. What one of your personal habits that contributes to your success, sir?
Well, on a daily basis, I like to think every day, day by day, and one thing I notice the days I'm most successful, I'm able to get up in the morning early and go for I'll go for a run outside or do 20 or 30 minutes of exercise, help me, disconnect, clear my mind, and really energize me for the day ahead.
Nice. Fantastic. Is there an internet resource that you'd recommend for people?
Yeah, I think, maybe someone else has said it before on your podcast, but the U.S. Green Building Council, they have so much content, and a lot of it's free. And it's for whether big project, small project, and you could get ideas from both, anything that works for a big building, you could do for your house, right? It's just a matter of scale, and vice versa. Before that, I used to love going to Barnes and Noble. They had a great architecture section, and that's where I got a lot of my ideas when I was in college, and also for designing this house is, books of contemporary home design. It could be a $10 million house you're looking at, but all the internal organs are the same thing that go into your house, right? And you can look at what was built 5 years ago, 10 years ago in these very, high-end, cutting-edge homes, and now they're readily attainable, right, for your home today. And that was one thing that I really liked about, going to Barnes and Noble, picking up these books and looking at them. And I think still on their website, they still have obviously all the same books, and you can go there and check out their website for architecture books.
Nice.
Well, yeah, those are the two, I'd say.
Okay.
Yeah.
And speaking of books, is there a particular book you'd recommend for people that?
Well, I was trying to think of a good one, and I mean, there's one that I've been told I need to read, so I haven't read it yet. But it's called Cradle to Cradle, and I guess it's about our whole society and how things get extracted from the earth, start to finish, and where it goes, and how we're actually probably, I guess, piggish about everything. So I don't know if you read that book, but
I haven't heard about it. I
was,
think I got to read it too. And the concept makes
yep,
sense, right? In nature, there's no waste. It's always cradle to cradle. It's going round. One creature's waste is another creature's input and fuel. So, yeah, we should definitely take our lessons from nature and figure out how to stop creating all these massive landfills and other ways of wasting
yep,
everything that we do. So, yeah, no, it's a really good
yep,
point, man. Great.
yep.
All right, if you had a magic wand and you could wave it and change one thing for everybody in the world, what would it be?
Yeah, I remember, yeah, you asked me about this already. I mean, obviously, everybody wants to wake up tomorrow and COVID's over, right? And not hear about all these riots going on down with the politics. But, really, like the oceans is something that really concerns me. Like I told you, I used to be pretty big into surfing, and I love, my father lives out on Cape Cod. I just love nature and the beach, and there's so much plastic out in the ocean right now. And it's just, it's very bad for the ecosystem. It's just ugly. It's dirty. Nobody wants it there, right? And people just need to get a little bit on board with cleaning it up. And there's this great nonprofit, Ocean Cleanup is what they're called. And they've dedicated to cleaning up 90% of this pollution by 2040. I mean, it's a lofty goal. But you can actually buy things that they create out of this plastic waste, like sunglasses and, some other things. And so, I'd say, I guess, go check out the Ocean Cleanup, and buy some sunglasses, because it'll fund the fuel for their ships. They dump it all back into their own business and picking up this garbage out of the ocean. So, definitely cleaning the oceans is my magic wand.
Hey, nice. That's a good wave, man. What's one thing you're most energized about today, Gib?
So through my work, I get to explore these sustainable technologies daily. And my company right now, we're working on two upcoming projects, and I mean we've looked at this on other buildings, the geothermal for multifamily. We always doing solar panels, but geothermal is a little bit more tricky on these 100 apartment buildings because you gotta put the wells under the building, and to get a drill machine 25 feet down in a hole is tricky, right? And then you're gonna put a building on top of this stuff. So these are like the kind of problems I like to be involved with and participating in the solution, solving them. So it's one thing. It's got I've been working a lot on 2 projects recently. So you said today because I've been thinking about this a lot. And there's another guy, I think you probably know him, is Zachary Fink over at ZBF Geothermal. We've been working a lot with him, and he's another great guy in the industry, local. So.
All right. Well, let's see. Grand finale. So, a piece of parting advice and guidance for people. And do you want folks to get a hold of you? If so, how?
I'd say, I got enough on my plate. I'd rather not get bombarded with emails. I don't know how many people you got listening here, but just stay healthy and try not to catch the virus and keep good care of yourself. I mean, that's all I could say right now.
That's a good thing, right? And I mean, the one good thing about your heating cooling system is it's all self-contained and not as much chance for mold and mildew and all those sorts of nasty things that come into many people's homes. So it's a great thing. Well,
Yep.
Gib, thank you so much for your time
Yeah.
and support, and looking forward to having you on the webinar with Bell. And if
Sure.
people have questions, you'll have the opportunity to come and ask questions right on the live webinar, and not too long.
Perfect.
So yeah, that'd be great. All righty, thank you so much,
All right.
Gib.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
All right.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks so much, man. So we will. I'll be getting this out. It'll probably get out like next week or so. We're gonna start publicizing it. But anyway, I'll get back to you with it. I'll let you know links and stuff. And looking forward to having you on. It'll be 2 weeks from yesterday, I guess. So I'll send you an invite on that. And and then it's Keith Bell. Is that who it is? Right, Keith Bell, right? So.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that should be fun. So you guys get along, right? So that's a good thing. So
yep.
Cool. Awesome. Hey, thanks so much, man. Anything that we missed that I didn't go through or?
No, I don't think so. Yeah.
No, you did great though. You did really great. So you're a natural.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I thought you did wonderful, man. So thank you so much. Really appreciate the time. And, it's for a good cause. I think, more and more people are going to get exposed to this and hopefully wake up to the fact that they can save some money at the same time that they're doing good. So, and having a more comfortable lifestyle too, which is great. So, awesome. All right. Thanks so much, Gib. Have a great day.
All right. Have a good weekend.
Man. You too. We'll talk to you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining today's podcast, The Power of Earth with Comfort by Climate Master. Please go to our website, awesomeearthkind.com, to register for a very special free geothermal web class. In The Power of Earth with Comfort by Climate Master interactive web class, you'll discover how geothermal heating and cooling can draw energy from the ground beneath our feet for pennies, why your neighbors and homeowners everywhere are making the switch, the secrets to securing utility incentives and tax credits to pay for a large portion of your new geothermal system, and so much more. If you want to save up to 70% on your energy bills, register now for this free special event that will show you exactly how to get geothermal heating and cooling installed in your home. Take your next step to create the clean energy future we all want and our children need and deserve. Register now for the free Geothermal web class at www.awesomeearthkind.com. That's www.awesomeearthkind.com.